Hi, Dylan. Happy to see you here. You are just in time because our first guest just ended his session, and I already told to those who were here at the beginning what is PageDAO about. Just a short sentence about it. Web3 publishing tools for the average Web3 user. And yeah, I want you to introduce more about this project idea and how did you develop it. So yeah, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for the introduction. I hope it's not too loud. I actually didn't think that this was quite yet, so I'm actually out on a walk with my dog Picasso. Anyway, please forgive me for being unprepared. That happens a lot these days. PageDAO has been around since 2021. We released the Page token as a social coin. We added governance on top shortly thereafter. And this year, we are looking at all kinds of ways to add additional functionality. But what's changed is that we have seen some success. We created a liquidity pool on Osmosis and deployed a liquidity mining gauge to incentivize this liquidity pool. And we managed to bootstrap up to $250,000 in liquidity in that pool earlier this year, which was really nice to see, because basically it represents sort of virality that the concept and that the project has been able to generate. And so now what we're doing is we're working to translate this momentum into actionable progress towards real technology to help Web3 help writers. And so what this looks like is a technology stack where you can have a really robust author page for free. It lists all of the books, period, everywhere, regardless of blockchain, media, publishing style, whatever. We're trying to pull everything in. And so really and truly, like what PageDAO is an opportunity to bring all of the world's written content to all of the world's reading humans for the first time in the history of the world. And this is possible because we stand on the shoulders of giants, people like Secret Network, people like Vitalik Buterin, who have developed these open source protocols that anyone in the world can use to build a super app in relatively small amounts of time using open source code and cryptocurrency rails to enable payments. Really quite amazing. And it's an honor to be one of the few people who represents writers in this space as it develops. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you for being here. I would love for you like to drive us through PageDAO, but you are in the walk, so I guess it will not be possible for today. I'm going to share the PageDAO socials here, and curious to know how did you get into Web3? And I read in your description that you were the first one publishing a book on as an NFT on Ethereum. So I'm curious to know how did you get into that earlier, and what are the future updates for PageDAO? What is for the future of PageDAO?
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'll try to hit all of those basics with this quick response. The thought is that in the past, what we've done at PageDAO is we've created the README Books NFT Mentor. And this basically allows anybody to join the PageDAO by purchasing a membership NFT. And then that membership NFT gives you permission to use the PageDAO publishing technology. So you can create a flipbook on the Polygon blockchain that's decentralized and just runs in the web browser. And so this is a fairly novel piece of technology that hasn't really existed yet in history. And the reason for that is because it's always taken a centralized intermediary in the first place to be rendering and storing the content. So the magic here is empowered by IPFS, which is a new means of storing files in a decentralized way that allows them to be stored once across an entire network where everyone has access to them as a result, instead of replicated a million times across everybody's devices. So really, this is a lift that started at Stanford University, and that I became familiar with starting in about 2017 when I registered my GitHub handle, IPFS Nut. So that's an interesting kind of like, piece of trivia. I definitely got to know IPFS very early on in the game. That's because I have a really smart mentor who just took the time to teach me, even though I didn't know much at all about programming or any of this stuff at that point. So that's kind of how I came into the space, and that's kind of what PageDAO is up to. Really, I got onboarded to Web3 by Cint in late 2019, early 2020. And then it was, I don't know, I spent about a year going, wait a second, why is nobody using IPFS to publish books and monetize them with these blockchain things? It seems like a really natural sort of application of this technology. And so for a while, I wondered if nobody was doing it because it was a bad idea. I kind of like had to evaluate it for a while and analyze things and talk to people. And then I had to kind of come up with a concept of what it might look like. And so I wrote a white paper in the late 2020 for, I didn't call it Alexandria Labs. That's actually a different Web3 publishing platform that just had the same beam in mind when they were founded. But it was just the Alexandria project back then. So out of this came an experiment, and I used the Cargo platform to put a PDF on the Ethereum blockchain that you had to own the NFT to be able to read the book. And Cam Hijazi, founder of Cint and great souled man, bought it for like $120 or something. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so real. It can just happen. And then Cargo went down, and I developed an acute Cint as a one-of-one artist whose primary means of delivering value had just been broken. This caused me to rapidly see the value of decentralized assets that just run in the browser without a centralized intermediary. Because, GeoCities happen. Most of the internet has been lost. There's just, I don't know, there's a strong argument that the Web 2 rails are just not very good technology anymore. They repeatedly fail, and then there's just all these problems with them. And so, quickly, we can see the argument that maybe Web 3 could be better. But then the closer into the tech that I got, the better I got to understanding that, the more evident that it was that Web 3 tech was just better in every way. Even the social outcomes of decentralizing the ownership of the network that everyone's using, that's just better. There's not really much in the way of a counter argument there. And you get these guys that, want to make the Stephen Deal argument that all of Web3 is a scam and so on. It's just not true. And PageDAO is proof. So I'm fresh out of a call with Underground that was fairly emotional. That's a big network of artists. I've been friends with the founder for years, the whole time I've been in the space pretty much. And so it was wonderful to link up with him and to start talking about, the PageDAO token factory. Because what we're going to be able to do is use the liquidity of the Page token to help our partners run token bootstrapping operations and develop liquidity of their own so that they can stand independent and build the technology that their communities want them to build. So kind of long story short, that's where we're at. But I got to say, the new publishing stack that we're about to release didn't quite get the mention that it deserved there. It's going to change everything. so really, there's a lot. And I just can't quite get to everything in the short time that I have before my phone at 1% goes dead, because this is always happening lately. If I suddenly disappear, I apologize in advance.
No worries. Thank you for sharing. I shared a link to your main website in the Townhall chat here because I know that you have limited ability to do so right now.
I'm walking home as fast as I can, but I don't know if I'll make it or not.
No worries. We can kill some time while you plug back in or talk about it a little bit. And people can access the Discord through your website, or maybe I know Jose, you're a part of the community. Maybe you can share the Discord invite in the town hall chat.
Please share the link. We have docs, we have FAQ, that explain how to move page around between chains. In our footer, you can find all of the smart contracts, the page token address, and how to get at that on Osmosis. You can also find our Twitter and our Discord from PageDAO.org. So it's a great website, really good resource.
I'm looking for.
Yeah, we hear a lot about PageDAO from different MetaGame members.
Oh, somebody asked about T2. I'm actually an official advisor to T2. They call me and ask me how to build shit. So I've been with them since before they launched. I love talking to them. Juan Chu is like, yeah, she's the real deal. She's awesome.
Yeah, I've been poking at T2 a little bit lately, and I realized that it kind of overlaps with PageDAO a bunch. So I was curious what's going on there.
Yeah, we're friends. Everybody at PageDAO right now is participating in a writing competition on T2. We like their time points. We're advising them on UX to kind of broaden the approach there a little bit. But it's cool. Like what they're doing is awesome. That's the home where I publish all my blog stuff these days.
Great to know. Also, I have been seeing like somehow you have been playing the metagame from this perspective, looking for ways to like push the communications and the bridges between writers and readers. And I know that process, had got you to bond deeply with different users. And recently, I know we have a common friend who got scammed or rugged. I don't know how to say it, drained on his wallet. And I know PageDAO is taking action into that. So I would like to talk about it and to hear from you, how the whole process has been mixing together into what is right now the Easy DAO, right?
Yeah, the Easy Money DAO. Okay, so yeah, one of the cool things about just studying tokens on over and over for years is that you get to the point where something can happen and you can just see a solution. So what happened for this was actually the Easy in Crypto finally got hacked, or scammed or attacked or whatever. They were able to steal his money basically. And they did so in an advanced way that to me represents something that we should be trying to prepare users.
Prepare users for.
I think his phone died. I'm guessing his phone died.
I lost Dylan.
Yeah, I think his phone died. He mentioned being on 1%.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm back. I've got my laptop. My phone's dead, but I'm on a different device.
Hey. Sounds good. You were about to tell us how Easy is hurting.
Yeah, you were sharing the story about Easy getting hacked and how it developed into Easy Money DAO.
Okay. Well, thanks for the quick reminder there. Yeah. So basically, Easy got hacked, and at first I wanted to just give them a bunch of page tokens to make up for it, but the community was like, that's not what that's for. And I was like, okay, it's unfortunate. I wanted to be of service here. And they're like, well, we see that. We want to back you on that. And so I thought, well, maybe one thing we could do is take a smaller amount of page and then spin up a meme coin as a sort of force multiplier. So the place that this is coming from is like a desire to help, but at the same time a desire to benefit the DAO instead of harming it. And so what we've done at this point is that we've created a system where PageDAO is going to be partnering with Underground first, it looks like, potentially over the weekend, to create 2 liquidity pools on Base, one of Page versus ETH and the other versus Ground. And so basically the idea is that we're going to be extending the ecosystem of the Page token by using the Page token to assist other projects that want to create tokens and that want to come up in like a liquid sort of way. And so with respect to the Page Token Factory, the PageDAO Token Factory, I saw a resource that we had that could act as a sort of fulcrum or a sort of pulley. And basically the goal emerged pretty quickly. We wanted to use a smaller amount of Page, so we would do a meme coin and we would provide liquidity instead of just trying to write a check, because this is kind of what like cryptocurrencies are for. And so, you know, we started talking about that at PageDAO, and Jose really stepped up and made a big difference. You know, he supported this project like a diehard from like just day one. He was like, look, security is a problem. Easy needs to, you know, be helped by the community. We had an idea for a while that we would issue the token to people who were hack victims. But at the end of the day, I think everybody was too worried about bad actors coming in and kind of like defrauding everybody and like stealing all the tokens. And, you know, so the question was, you know, is it effective to solve the problem that we want to solve if we do this? And the answer was no. We had to come up with a different way. And so the difference became that instead of using the meme just to compensate EasyBack and compensate hack victims, we could essentially extend the amount of social capital in terms of its impact by creating a culture of prophylaxis. So the goal is to prevent hacks, and this is far cheaper than allowing them to happen and then compensating people retroactively for them. I mean, at some point, you know, you could even make the argument that you're paying people to get hacked if you're doing that. And hacks benefit, you know, bad people, you know, so we don't want hacks to happen at all. And so what's emerged through the effort and talent of Musashi and Jose, and the endorsement that we were able to get from Easy himself to do this project, you know, after it had taken shape for a few days, like all of this coming together just makes for the opportunity to throw a really sick party that'll be a really good time. And then at the same time, you know, we can also boost awareness and thereby create some of our culture around security the way that we want it to be. And so we can change the world here, and we can do it with a meme coin. So like this seems really exciting to me. It's also an opportunity to put the PageDAO Page Token Factory into operation and get a chance to have a look at you know what that's doing in the wild and what that looks like. I think we're going to be able to launch Ground perhaps over the weekend here versus Page on Base, and so it would be a very small lift to do the same thing for Easy Money. We'll already have tokens in position, and we'll have some buzz. We got a tweet from Secret Network endorsing our Riders Lift tweets earlier, which is pretty big. They have like almost 200K followers on Twitter, so it's really nice to get a retweet from them. Anyway, so I'm tired and my voice is not what it could be. I need to go find a drink of water here in a sec, but I definitely wanted to give full voice to the Easy Money DAO project, but because in a way, it actually is the most capital efficient way to attempt to change the Web3 security culture that I've seen. I wrote an article last week on T2 about it, in fact, and you can go read that if you like. That's part of a competition that's ongoing right now. So actually, like, you know, in terms of just like small, you know, things that maybe people can do to support your boy here, you know, go give us a read, give us a like, give us a comment, but do it on T2, baby. Well, let me snag the link and I'll drop it in the chat here so everybody can see. It's a decent little strategy to use multi-sig wallets to create multiple points of failure, so that you don't have a single point of failure like our friend Easy did. And so I've published that in needed adjustments. If you're looking there, I'm trying to find it through T2, or you can just go to the link here, and you can follow me there. And I hope you do, and I hope you like the things I write.
Thank you so much, because you are able to grab all the different edges of the project and explain them. And thank you for sharing the text for people to check it out later and digest the idea. But what I like about this is the fact that through a hard experience, which is getting hacked, easy, taking something good out of that, and is the mix of safety, art, and empathy towards through this experience, looking for us to do something about teaching our community about what to do and what not to do on spaces. And we are talking about Easy, that if you guys don't know him, is a Web3 native, and he's already aware of all the types of scams. The thing was that a Discord server he was part already got compromised, and he didn't was aware of it, and a fake moderator, or he made a fake ticket, and through the ticket they sent them a fake message bot, and then he put his permissions on the message bot, and it was already drained. So he wasn't aware. He has his defense somehow low, because he already was involved in this community. It was like if some hacker gets into MetaGame, and he just sends people his way, and a lot of people are getting onboarded these days through meme coins, or through trading, speculative stuff. And I think that through this safety concert, we can get our local community, to have their Web3 experience being one that stands for getting conscious about how you can be your own bank, and also getting to know artists of the community. So yeah, I think we are ready. I don't know if you have something more you want to share, Dylan. Maybe NFT New York. Maybe if somebody is there to pop around on the April 2 thing.
Yeah, follow Secret Network on Twitter, and you'll be able to attend an event that's going to be spoken at by Robbie Pollock, my co-founder, at PageDAO. I can't remember the subject of the talk that he's going to give, but he's going to be there in person. I'm not going to make it. And essentially the party that we attempted to sponsor, that sponsorship deal fell through, unfortunately. So we're not going to be doing the things that we thought we were going to be doing there. But nonetheless, we will have a few PageDAO members there roaming around looking to meet people. If you find one, they may have some merch. So just a little bit of an Easter egg there. If anybody's looking for a PageDAO shirt, I'm going to be there.
Is PageDAO on Forecaster or Lens?
Yes, sir. We do have a Warpcast channel, and I believe we created a Warpcast account yesterday, but I don't follow it yet. So let me just take a look and see if I can dig that up. Yeah, so here's the channel at the very least. Thanks for asking about Warpcast. Really, really cool to see this platform on the rise. Yeah, Secret Network is a super big deal. A good partner for us. Yeah, the DAO. Let me actually pull up the PageDAO site on this webpage, And the thing is that this is where you can come and you can stake your page tokens. So if you have some page tokens and you want to participate in governance, you can come to PageDAO here, and you will be able to not only participate in governance as a voter, but you're able to submit proposals. And so right now there's a total of 340,000 page that could go to funding, something that somebody from the community comes up with. Most of the stuff that we do as the PageDAO core team is handled through the various different multi-sigs. So you can go to our sub-DAOs and you can see what R&D is doing. You can see what community and publishing is doing. You can see what core team is up to some extent. So really, like, we're just kind of getting started, and this is a powerful form of social media. I would like to also direct your attention to one particular PageDAO member, which is the T.Dylan Vault. So this is my multi-sig that I've created. And essentially the power of this thing is that it's multiple factors required. So even unless I lost all of the keys, or unless somebody compromised all of them, I would be in pretty good shape in resisting the sorts of attacks that are really common today in Web3. And the reason there is just that it's not a single point of failure. It's a double point of failure. And if I add a third address in up to 5, it can be up to 5 points of failure. Yeah, it probably is my dog Picasso. I don't know where the pic is. Anyway, yeah, Picasso found me like 6 months ago. He's my puppy. He's a good boy. I like this idea of an index playbook.
Yeah, I'm slowly working on some stuff like that. But yeah, some cross pollination, and I think T2 is going to be an outlet for me, and I'll look more into page stuff too. But yeah, I like to connect people.
Yeah. Also, one of the things I was seeing into, having Dylan to connect with us, it was to share about the playbooks and to see which synergies those PageDAO and MetaGame can have related to playbooks. Because if PageDAO is going to be onboarding writers, it can be great to have a writers onboarding to Web3 playbook and get to see if we can have like a synergy between the quests, so they can have a setup of all these tools. The guys want to have them through, through a playbook, through a quest chain, through, I don't know. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I would love for all of us to iterate on it and bring something to the table.
All right.
Yeah, I shared the link there for the Academy from MetaGame.
Awesome.
If the newcomers, I know we got some newcomers here, and then I'm going to share another question here that might be interesting to you, Dylan, specifically. Is we have a quest up for hunting playbooks. So if you do know some of your writer friends and stuff, and you want to help us add to the Academy, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah, come on through. The thing is, I have very limited power at PageDAO these days. I can't ask anybody to do anything really, or any of that shit. I mostly work on the token, and I go around and I talk to groups of people that are like PageDAO adjacent. So the main thing that I can suggest, if anybody wants a partnership with PageDAO, we have a process. It's 3 steps. The first step is ideation. The second step is synthesis, and the third step is integration. So basically, if anybody listening to this wants any sort of partnership with PageDAO, what you do is you first go over and join that Discord, and then second, create a tag in the general chat of one or more core team members and explain a little bit about your idea. And so basically, the goal, I think, is to sort of figure out where people's ideas fit in with what we're already doing. And so most of the time these days, I think it'll be a thing where there's a spot that people can kind of slide in and start to work with an existing group on stuff, especially written stuff. I also think that it's possible that we can spin up new projects rather quickly. And the process there is just to get one core team member to join and to basically support the effort that you're making. And that's ideation, right? So you think through it, you figure out what to do. And then for synthesis, you take it to a second core team member. And the second core team member volunteers to write a proposal for you. And so we partition this because a lot of times the proposals are they're about subjects that we care a great deal for. And so it can be hard to be dispassionate about it. So some of the folks on core team, it's their job to look at the proposal bank and help adapt that to support new people who want to come in and do stuff. So pretty much the synthesis phase is you and your chosen core team member take it to a second core team member, and you write it up. And then the third phase is the thing that's written gets finalized, put on chain, and becomes code. And at that point, we've integrated it into the broader PageDAO vision as a whole. And hopefully we're going to have a great partnership from there forward.